Good afternoon. My name is Michael Olamiwaju. I'm a human resource professional, and due to isolation, I would want to utilize this period and sensitize the general public about the trending and the new ways in which we can access getting a job in our today's society. It's going to be more like a series, so we'll be taking it one step at a time, and I hope we're able to achieve as many things as possible, and I hope to get positive results out of this. So I have decided to break this first part of the video into 3 different phases. So it's going to be, the first one is going to be talking about what to do to get a job. Getting a job, as we know, is on everyone's lips, if not, is on majority of us. It's on our lips in today's society, and we know it's part of things that really lead to peer group influence, depression, and the rest. And really, we need to understand what the workplace is saying and how we are accessing the opportunities that we have to be able to get that desired job that is around. Statistics say that in post-COVID-19 era, we are going to be having lots of jobs which are going to be open to the public, but the public won't get it. Reason is because not everybody will get the job. So what are we going to do to be part of those that will get that job? Now we'll need to look into that, on what to do to get a job. Now the second phase, which we'll be discussing later, would be how to get the job, while the last phase will be talking about what to do to get a job. So in the first phase, we're talking about what to do to get the job. Now the first phase is broken up into 5 ways in which we can actually help ourselves during this COVID era, which will be beneficial to us when we are now job hunting post-COVID era. So the first thing that we need to do is work on our strengths and our weaknesses. It is very, very important that we work on our strengths and our weaknesses. Kindly know what you are good at, know what you need to improve on, so that even when you get the job, what you need to improve on shouldn't be greater than what you are good at. When what you need to improve on is greater than what you are good at, then there is a problem, and that can lead to loss of jobs. So we need to be very careful, and we need to note our strengths and our weaknesses. So secondly, we will need to learn a lot during this period. We can use this era to access lots of materials, lots of things, research on things that are valuable to us at this period of time, that will help us when we start job hunting. We need to put learning into focus, put it as part of our goals during this period. Then we need to network. We are in the era of social distancing though, but really we have the social media as a means for networking during this means. And when I'm talking of social media, I'm not talking of Twitter. It depends. You can actually use Twitter as a good means of networking, but there is a limitation to which you'll be networking on Twitter if it's not for just for pleasure. Facebook too. You have to put a kind of focus to it to be able to achieve the kind of networking that we are talking about when we mean networking. Networking, it's in this sense means in a professional way, in a professional context. So I would recommend LinkedIn to be the perfect means of networking for somebody trying to go into the corporate world. You need to access LinkedIn. You need to access the benefits in which LinkedIn is bringing. It has a huge benefit. We'll be talking about LinkedIn on a different day, and we'll be dissecting it one after the other to know how and in which way is it beneficial to us. So we'll be talking about the next segment, which is also which is telling us on how to take job hunting itself as a job. We need to take job hunting as a job when it's time. Then we need to review our CVs. Your CV is like your introduction. So your CV is that introduction, the person that does the introduction for you when you are not there. That is that thing. That's that paper. It does the introduction for you when you are not there. Then we'll talk about mock interviews, talk about interviews and the impact in which interviews have to you getting a job and to you not getting a job. Then lastly, we're discussing about building your 21st century skills. Skills. It's a major and very important part of the 21st century job. On getting a job in this century, it's a very, very important thing. So we talked about getting a job and what to do. So we said the first thing is to know your strengths and weaknesses. So as I earlier reiterated, please get to know your strengths and to know your weaknesses. It is very, very important to do so, because this will help you know the career path in which you need to move into. So let me delve a bit into career paths. So due to the nature of the Nigerian economy, getting to start a career path is not an easy thing, and it requires self-discovery. You need to discover yourself. You need to know what you want to do, like have that 10-year plan. If the best way to develop a plan is to write it down. So whether it is going in your direction at the moment or it's not going in your direction, but you have that thing in which you are seeing and you want to become. If I ask you now, you can say you want to become a nursing administrator. So, but if you have not written it down, there is nothing that is really your vision sight. So you have to create a vision sight, something you are seeing and it's directing you towards the path you want to go. So you need to get that self-discovery. You need to create your vision path. You need to know your career path. Now what you come out with, it's far not what you are even getting a job with. It was before that if I read accounting, or if I read medical engineering, if I read electrical engineering or mechanical engineering, that means I need to be an engineer, or if I read accounting, I need to be an accountant. We've seen situations where accountants are now senior marketing executives. That's possible. We see engineers that are now human resource professionals. In fact, senior human resource professionals in their field, becoming experts in different fields. We've seen someone that read aquaculture becoming an admin manager, an administrative officer, a procurement manager. People are working, some are even working in the oil downstream or upstream or mainstream, and really they are doing well for themselves. It's not really what you go to school to read now that is actually what you end up becoming. Far from it. And please do not have the mindset that because I came out with the first class, second class, third class or pass, that it's going to determine what I am going to focus on. So coming out with a lower level of grade, probably a third class, can hinder you in not pushing your sights further. But if you go through some stages or some steps, you can still focus your line back inside to where you want to be. It's just that you won't start at that scratch where someone that has a first class will start. Or you can start somewhere that in the next 2 years you might be on the same par or even at an higher par at where someone that has a first class is started with. So don't ever think that your certificate is going to determine where you are going to be in the long run. You determine where you are going to be in the long run. So going back to what we are discussing about your strengths and weaknesses, you need to ensure that you have your strengths and your weaknesses. It's going to help you in your job hunt. Very important. Then you need to learn. Learning is a very important part of our lives. We need to learn a lot. We need to learn and keep learning because that is what will keep us informed, and that is what will keep us knowledgeable about what we are doing. So we need to have full knowledge, and that way we used to keep ourselves informed. And the only way we can do that is when we research, when we know what is happening in our environment, when we know what is happening in the industry that we intend to go to. If I want to work in the power sector, I need to know what is currently trending in the power sector, what will stand me out in the power sector, what will stand me out in the power sector, what will stand me out in the facility management sector, what will stand me out in the agricultural sector, what will stand me out in the fintech sector. So we need to understand things like that, and the only way in which we can do that is to keep ourselves informed. The only way we can even pursue a career path is when we are informed about the career paths that we have or the career paths that we intend to create. So we need to understand that path. Then also the next one, we're talking about networking. So I gave us earlier on, I gave us a brief part on what we need to do when we talk about networking and how LinkedIn is the best professional network site that we can use. So LinkedIn has to do it combination of entrepreneurs and professionals from different fields coming together and networking, coming together and discussing about what is happening in their sector, what is happening in their professional careers, how you can build your professional careers. In LinkedIn, you tend to see people that have achieved in their careers and people that are up there in their careers and what they've done, how they've done it, how they've had one mentor that has helped them to toe the right path. So you in the environment, you in the network environment of LinkedIn, will learn, you get knowledge, you get networks. In fact, you get jobs. I tell people that I got my first job on LinkedIn, got my second job on LinkedIn. So it was a whole different level of experience on its own. So LinkedIn, there are job adverts on LinkedIn, there are various people posting on LinkedIn, there are informal kinds of ways of getting a job on LinkedIn. We have the formal and the informal type of ways of getting a job. We'll be discussing that in some of our series that will be coming soon. Then we're talking about taking job hunting as a job. So when you're job hunting, you need to take it serious. You need to be attentive to details. Like, you need to know what you are searching for. Please and please, if you have 0 years experience, don't go applying for a 5-year experience. Please don't waste your time. If you keep applying for a job of 5 years experience, 10 years experience, and you are complaining that there is no job, then you are the cause of your problem. You are the cause of your problem. You don't need to apply for for fresh graduates, there are jobs as graduate trainees. Please always note, graduate trainee would say 1 year NYSC, 1 year, those talking about post 1 year NYSC. Yeah, I'll do a video where I would go detailed into what each of these means and how best you can harness all this. But let me just chip in here today that for graduates, please apply for graduate trainees. Apply for as many graduate trainees as you can. Now, graduate trainees, most often we see graduate trainees of first class 2-1s, graduate trainees of 2-2s. You might not really get graduate trainees of third class, but third class, there are ways in which you can get a job without going through all the process of graduate trainings. Graduate trainings usually take about 3 to 4 processes, where you had the test, where you do the assessment center, then when you do the final interview, and you get the job. So one thing is, you need to understand that if you are going through graduate training, you need to read a lot. So for instance, I want to apply for Deloitte graduate training. I need to start preparing, if possible for me now, preparing like 6 months early before that exam, because you take the exam seriously. You want to apply to KPMG, you want to apply to Shell will do an online application, you do an online test first, Zenith Bank, Access Bank, you want to apply to Duffield Foods. Graduate trainees, management trainees, these are for startup officers, for people that are just starting their careers, and you need to be able to harness it. That's why you need to learn. You need to keep yourself informed. You understand? You see forums where they share past questions on jobs. You need to practice those past questions. You need to read wide. You need to understand. I think most of all these graduate training jobs are really talking about they're talking about basics of entering. They're always focusing on what is it called now, on the basics: mathematics, English, quantitative reasoning, verbal reasoning. So you need to understand that this is the route in which I will take to get this job, then I need to take this route. It's as simple as ABC. You need to just understand it. You need to be serious with it. You don't need to start giving excuses like their stress is too much. No, this is the company stress. Fine. You need to go through it. Give what belongs to Caesar unto Caesar. So you need to be focused to get that job. So you're a 2-1, you're a first class, and you want to apply for a job at which company now? First Bank. And you know that they're going to write tests, you know that they're going to do assessment center. Why don't you start preparing for the assessment center? So we'll be talking about how to ace assessment center in one of our series as well. So just keep yourself knowledge. Take job hunting as a job. Are you an experienced worker and you want to switch jobs? Then you know that you need to be active on searching for jobs. There are job sites that post daily jobs. But you know that if you want to switch jobs, you also know that it must be in tune with your career. Please, someone that is a personal assistant and is applying for a senior human resource professional role without having any skill required or related to it, how do you want to get the job? You need to understand the fact that a career, there's career and there's job. If you are in job before and you want to move to a career, there's a process around it. You can't just fly from a job to a career path. It's not easy. Most times it's very hard. So there is a process in which you go around it and you get your career path. So let's move to the next part of reviewing your CV. CV review is an important part of getting a job. We need to understand the fact that we need to review our CV. Some CVs are still like a CV of 1994. Really, there are CVs of 1994, whereby some people are putting their own personal details on it. We need to understand, we need to keep ourselves abreast, keep ourselves informed of what is going on in the job, in the corporate world. Your CV needs to speak volume. As a graduate, I don't expect you to have a 2-page CV. And we've seen fresh graduates that are having 3-page CV. You don't have experience, so you don't need to buff up your CVs with things that are irrelevant. I'll be doing a CV session, reviewing your CV session soon, where we'll be talking about ways in which you can buff your CV up, ways in which you can ensure that you have a good CV, because your CV will talk if you are a lion or if you are a fox. It's going to show the recruiter if you're a lion or for a fox. I've been opportune to do some interviews to recruit for about 2 organizations, and really when I review people's CV, it's more like me wondering what they were thinking when they just sit down and put all those things inside that CV. You know, a little secret is that some employers don't even look past the first page of your CV. So if you are bombarding the first page of your CV with irrelevant things, might get the recruiter bored, and that way the recruiter screens over your CV to the next one. And there is also what we call application ethics. We'll be talking about that too later. There's something application ethics. There's something that is called what is it called? ATS, application tracking system. Application tracking system is even worse than when a recruiter is looking at your CV, because if it doesn't have the key points, the key things that you need to put in your CV, then it's going to just skip it over to the next one. So we're talking about that later. Now we're talking about interviews. Now, last we talked about CV. Even if you have that perfect CV and your CV is looking like a lion, and when you get to the interview, you are looking like a tortoise, or you're looking like a rat, or you're looking like a fox. Your CV is speaking, oh, this person is fantastic, this person has done this, but at your interview level, you can't even express yourself. Then there is a problem. In that situation, is a problem, and at the end of the day, you might not get the job, not because you are not knowledgeable about it, but just because of the way your interview went. And this we shall be taking as time goes on. Now, lastly, today I'll be talking about your skills. Skills is very important. In fact, your skills plus your knowledge plus your behavior gives you the perfect job and retains your job for you. So it's more like as skills behavior knowledge, SBK, skills behavior knowledge. You need to have these three things to get a job and to retain a job. Your behavior comes in retaining your job, your skills comes in retaining your job, but your skills also comes in giving you your job. You need your skills. What are the 21st century skills that you need for that role, for that career you want to build? I was talking to some people yesterday and I said that Excel is one major thing that you need to learn as someone who wants to work in the 21st century. Gone are the days when reports are still being written by hand or by Microsoft Word. Even reports now are being given on Excel. So what are you doing to work towards that path? Please beef up your skills. Very soon we shall also going to be listing out skills that we need, that is going to be very essential in our work life in the 21st century. We are going to be talking about the future of work and what has been laid down by professionals in various fields that will help you in building your skills. So the next thing we'll be discussing about in our next video is going to be on how to get the job, and there we'll be dissecting in details what we discussed today on what to do to get a job. Thank you very much. My name remains Michael, and I'll see you all.